Breach of the impossible. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Confederation hummed with tension as High Admiral Zevnar activated the central holographic display. Representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations leaned forward in their gravity chairs, a collective gasp rippling through the chamber as the image materialized. "Impossible," whispered Ambassador Trellix, her bioluminescent skin flashing rapid patterns of disbelief. Floating in the crimson swirls of the Nexus void, a region of space where no vessel had ever survived longer than minutes, was an unmistakably human ship. Its hull bore the insignia of Earth's Exploration Division, somehow intact despite the quantum storms that had torn apart every probe and advanced ship sent into the region for the past 3 centuries. "The vessel has been in the void for 17 standard cycles," Admiral Zevnar stated, his 4 arms rigid in the formal posture of grave concern. "Our sensors detect minimal power signatures and life support systems operating on emergency protocols." Elder Calix of the Mithran Collective stood, his ancient voice reverberating through the chamber. "How did they enter? How do they survive where our finest technologies fail?" "Unknown," Zevnar replied. "But I have dispatched our newest shielded retrieval vessel under Admiral Vega's command. They will reach the human ship within 6 hours." The name silenced the murmurs. Admiral Saren Vega was the only non-human ever to attain high rank in the Confederation fleet after defecting from her homeworld. Half human herself, she understood both worlds but belonged fully to neither. "Can we trust Vega with this?" Councillor Drax demanded, mandibles clicking with agitation. "Her loyalties have always been complicated." High Admiral Zevnar's exoskeleton plates shifted in the Valkorian equivalent of a dismissive shrug. "Admiral Vega is our foremost expert on human psychology and physiology. If anyone can determine how they've achieved the impossible, it's her." The retrieval vessel, Quantum Seeker, decelerated at the edge of the Nexus void, its advanced shielding already straining against the reality-warping energies that pulsed through the crimson clouds. On the command deck, Admiral Saren Vega studied the readouts with focused intensity, her mismatched eyes, one human brown, one Valkorian silver, reflecting the emergency lights. "Shield integrity at 78%, announced Lieutenant Kira, her tentacles moving fluidly over the controls. "We have approximately 20 minutes before degradation reaches critical levels." Vega nodded. "More than enough time. Bring us alongside the human vessel and prepare the boarding team." The ship that hung suspended in the quantum storms looked insignificant against the vastness of the void. A research vessel named Horizon Seeker, according to its identification markers. Its design was unmistakably human, practical yet inelegant by Confederation standards, built for function rather than aesthetic harmony. Vega led the boarding team herself, crossing the energy tether between ships with practiced ease. The airlock cycled open at her command override, revealing dimly lit corridors powered by emergency systems. "Life signs?" she asked, her breath visible in the cold air of the abandoned ship. 7 humans, reported Medical Officer Trell. "All in stasis chambers in the central laboratory." They found the stasis pods arranged in a circle, facing inward. Each transparent chamber contained a human in suspended animation, neural monitors pulsing with unusual patterns. "They're dreaming," Trell observed with surprise. Synchronized brain activity across all subjects. Vega approached the central console, fingers dancing over the interface. "This is Dr. Elias Chen's research vessel," she said, reading the logs. "Renowned neurophysicist, specializing in consciousness studies." "Admiral," called Security Chief Mox from across the lab. "You need to see this." Mox stood before a reinforced viewport that looked out into what should have been empty space. Instead, tendrils of luminescent energy curled and twisted, forming patterns that seemed almost intentional. "The void is responding to them," Vega whispered, a chill running down her spine that had nothing to do with the ship's failing temperature controls. Medical Officer Trell studied her instruments with growing alarm. "Admiral, these neural patterns, They're not just synchronized with each other. They appear to be synchronized with the energy fluctuations in the void itself. Vega's decision was immediate. Prepare the stasis chambers for transport. We're taking them back to Confederation space. The Council ordered us to study and report, not tow. Mox began. I know what the Council ordered. Vega cut him off. But we have 18 minutes before our shields fail. Choose your next words carefully, Chief. 16 minutes later, the Quantum Seeker reversed course, the 7 stasis chambers secured in its medical bay. As they crossed the boundary of the Nexus void, alarms blared throughout the ship. Stasis field fluctuations. Trell called out. One of the subjects is waking. Vega sprinted to the medical bay, arriving just as the first chamber hissed open. A man with silver-streaked black hair and lines of exhaustion etched into his face sat up slowly, blinking against the light. Dr. Elias Chen, Vega said, remaining in the doorway. I'm Admiral Saren Vega of the Galactic Confederation. Your ship was found adrift in the Nexus void. Chen's eyes found hers, unnervingly alert for someone just emerging from stasis. How long? 17 cycles, approximately 93 Earth days. He nodded as if this confirmed something. And my team? Still in stasis, stable for now. Chen swung his legs over the edge of the chamber, studying Vega with the analytical gaze of a scientist. You're half-human. My genetics are not relevant to your situation, Doctor. What is relevant is how your ship survived in the void when hundreds of advanced vessels have been destroyed within minutes of entering. A small smile crossed Chen's face. We didn't use technology to survive the void, Admiral. Then what did you use? Understanding. Chen stood, steady despite his long hibernation. We went there intentionally. We were invited. Invited? By what? Chen's eyes seemed to look beyond her, focusing on something invisible. By what lives there? What has always lived there? The entities your Confederation has been trying to reach for centuries with your probes and ships. Vega felt a chill creep up her spine. There's nothing alive in the void. Nothing your sensors can detect, Chen corrected. Nothing that exists the way we understand existence. But consciousness takes many forms. The ship's communication system crackled to life. Admiral, Lieutenant Kira's voice was tense. The Council demands an immediate report. They've detected our departure from the void. Tell them we're bringing in subjects for quarantine and analysis. Vega replied, never taking her eyes off Chen. That would be unwise, Chen said softly. They won't understand what we've discovered. And what exactly have you discovered, Doctor? Chen's eyes met hers, suddenly luminous with the same energy they had seen in the void. That the barrier between our minds and the universe is far thinner than anyone imagined. And humanity, for all its flaws, is uniquely suited to cross it. The language of stars. The central medical facility of New Andromeda Station buzzed with activity as specialists from a dozen species monitored the human subjects. 6 remained in stasis while Dr. Elias Chen underwent extensive examination, his cooperative demeanor doing little to ease the Council's suspicion. In the observation deck above the quarantine zone, Admiral Vega faced the Emergency Council session via holographic projection. Preliminary findings suggest no technological explanation for their survival, she reported. Their ship contains standard human shielding, wholly inadequate for void conditions. Then they must possess a biological adaptation, insisted Counselor Thrax, his insectoid features rigid with skepticism. Some evolutionary quirk. High Admiral Zevnar's hologram flickered as he leaned forward. What of Dr. Chen's claim? That they were invited. Unverified, Vega replied carefully. Brain scans show unusual activity in regions associated with higher cognitive functions. Dr. Chen exhibits increased neural complexity, but nothing that explains their survival. Elder Calix's ancient face showed deep concern. There is precedent for species encountering consciousness beyond our understanding. The Mithrin archives speak of entities that exist between dimensions. Myths and legends, scoffed Ambassador Trellix. We need facts, not mysticism. Fact. 7 humans survived where our most advanced technology failed, Vega countered. Fact. The void exhibited response patterns synchronized with their neural activity. The implications are disturbing, Zevnar admitted. If humans possess abilities we do not, then the power balance of the Confederation is compromised, finished Thrax. We must consider containment protocols. Vega's mismatched eyes narrowed. They are sentient beings under Confederation protection, not a security threat to be eliminated. Your heritage clouds your judgment, Admiral, Thrax retorted. We will reconvene in 12 hours to determine further action. Keep the subjects isolated until then. As the holograms winked out, Vega remained motionless, staring down at the medical bay where Chen sat calmly reading reports they had provided him. You heard something in his words the council missed, came a voice behind her. Medical Officer Trell stepped forward. 3 of her 4 eyes focused on Chen while 1 remained on Vega. He's hiding something, Vega admitted. Something he believes we're not ready to hear. Or something he's protecting, Trell suggested. The monitors recorded a spike in his limbic system when you mentioned his team. There's an emotional component driving his actions. Vega nodded. I need to speak with him alone. No recordings. Trell's skin rippled with concern. The council would consider that a serious breach of protocol. Then it's fortunate they won't know about it. The medical bay sealed behind her with a soft hiss as Vega approached Chen's bed. Without looking up from his reading, he spoke. I wondered how long it would take you to come alone. You've been very cooperative, Vega noted, taking the seat opposite him. Answering every question, submitting to every test. Yet revealing nothing of actual importance. Chen finished, finally looking up. Because they're asking the wrong questions. And what are the right questions, Doctor? Chen set aside the tablet. Why humans? Why now? What changed to make us suddenly compatible with void consciousness when we weren't before? Vega leaned forward. I disabled the surveillance systems. This conversation exists only between us. A genuine smile crossed Chen's face. Your human half recognizes what your Valkorian training denies, that some truths can only be exchanged in trust. My mother was human, Vega said quietly. She believed humans had potential the Confederation refused to acknowledge. She was right. Chen's expression softened. Humanity's defining trait isn't our technology or our biology. It's our fractured consciousness, our ability to simultaneously hold contradictory thoughts, to dream of impossibilities while accepting harsh realities. What does that have to do with the void? Everything. Chen's eyes took on that strange luminosity again. The void isn't empty, Admiral. It's the oldest consciousness in our galaxy, a network of beings that exist as pure thought, incompatible with conventional matter. They've watched us for millennia, unable to communicate. Until humanity evolved enough to bridge the gap. My team and I developed a neural synchronization technique to enhance our collective consciousness. We hope to achieve deeper understanding between humans. Instead, we became receptive to them. The lights in the medical bay flickered momentarily. They're reaching for you now, Vega realized. Chen nodded. Distance is meaningless to them. What matters is resonance. A soft alarm began to sound from the other medical chambers. Your team is waking up, Vega said. Not waking. Changing. Chen stood. What we experienced in the void transformed us. We're becoming bridges, creatures that exist in both states of being. The alarm grew more insistent as the neural patterns of the 6 sleepers synchronized, their brainwaves displaying on monitors throughout the facility. The Council will see this as an invasion, Vega warned. It is, Chen admitted, but not a hostile one. The void beings offer knowledge beyond anything we've imagined, but they need vessels capable of translating it into forms our reality can comprehend. The facility's power surged, systems cycling wildly as energy patterns reminiscent of the void began manifesting around the stasis chambers. Security alerts blared throughout the station as Vega's communicator erupted with urgent messages. She ignored them, watching as the 6 stasis chambers opened simultaneously, revealing Chen's team, their eyes glowing with the same luminescence as the void. "What happens now?" she asked. "That depends on you," Chen replied. "The Council fears what they don't understand. They'll try to contain or destroy us. But that path leads to conflict. The void beings don't want war, they want communion." The station's security doors sealed automatically as containment protocols activated. They had minutes at most before armed forces arrived. "Why me?" Vega demanded. "Why tell me this?" "Because you exist between worlds already," Chen said simply. "A human mind shaped by Galcorian training. You understand both perspectives." He extended his hand. "The choice before the Confederation is simple: remain isolated in physical existence, or expand into realms of consciousness we've only glimpsed." The security doors began to cycle open as override codes were implemented. "They won't understand," Vega said. "They'll see only threat. Then help them see otherwise." Vega's decision was made in seconds. As the security forces burst in, she stood between them and the humans, her command presence halting them momentarily. "Stand down," she ordered. "These are ambassadors, not prisoners." "Admiral," the security chief began, "the Council has ordered." "The Council doesn't understand what we're facing," Vega cut him off. "This isn't a security threat. It's first contact with a species older than our civilization." Behind her, Chen and his team stood together, their eyes shimmering with void energy as tendrils of luminescence curled around them. "We offer a gift," they spoke in unison, voices layered with harmonics that made the very air vibrate. "Knowledge, understanding, communion." The security team hesitated, weapons still raised but uncertainty evident in their postures. Vega addressed her communicator. "High Admiral Zevnar, this is a first contact scenario under Section 12 of the Charter. I invoke my authority as sinological specialist to establish dialogue protocols." After a tense moment, Zevnar's voice responded. "Explain yourself, Admiral." "The void is inhabited by a non-corporeal consciousness that has made contact through these humans. They're not a threat. They're translators for a species we've never been able to perceive before." The silence stretched until finally Zevnar spoke again. "The full council is convening. Maintain containment but take no hostile action. I'm coming to see this myself." As the security team established a perimeter, Vega turned back to Chen and his transformed colleagues. "You planned this," she accused quietly. Chen smiled. "We hoped. The void showed us possibilities, futures where understanding replaced fear, where consciousness expanded beyond physical limitations. And if the Council chooses isolation, if they decide you're too dangerous, then humanity will continue the dialogue alone," Chen said simply. "But that path is darker for everyone. The void beings have witnessed the rise and fall of 1,000 civilizations. Those that embrace expansion of consciousness thrive. Those that cling to the material alone stagnate." Hours later, as the full council gathered in the station's grand chamber, Vega watched the proceedings with a sense of witnessing history unfold. Chen and his team stood in the center, their transformed nature impossible to deny as void energy shimmered around them. "We stand at a crossroads," Elder Kellex addressed the assembly. "For centuries, we've explored outward, seeking new worlds, new species. Now we are offered exploration inward, toward realms of consciousness we've only glimpsed." "At what cost?" demanded Councillor Thrax. "These humans have been altered by unknown forces. We cannot trust." "Trust is earned through understanding," Chen interrupted, his voice resonating strangely. "We offer that understanding freely. The void beings have existed since the birth of the galaxy. They've watched civilizations rise and fall, unable to share their knowledge until now." "Why humans?" asked Ambassador Trellix. "Why not any of our species?" Your evolutionary paths created minds specialized for certainty, Chen explained. Precise, logical, dedicated to singular truths. Human minds embrace contradiction. We simultaneously believe and doubt, fear and hope. That flexibility makes us compatible with void consciousness. High Admiral Zevnar stepped forward. What do these void beings want from us? Exchange, replied Chen. They offer knowledge beyond our sciences, understanding of reality at its fundamental level. In return, they experience the physical universe through our perceptions. The council chambers fell silent as the implications settled over the assembled representatives. Finally, Elder Kellic spoke. Throughout our history, moments like this have defined us. When the Valkorians first encountered the Mithran collective, both species feared extinction. Instead, they found symbiosis that birthed our confederation. Vega stepped forward. The human vessel didn't breach the void by accident or technological advantage. They were invited because they represented possibility. The question before us isn't whether to contain a threat, but whether to embrace an opportunity. One by one, the council members debated, questioned, and finally voted. The resolution passed narrowly. Formal recognition of the void beings as a non-corporeal sentient species, with Chen's team designated as official translators. As the council dispersed, Vega found Chen standing by a viewport, gazing out at the stars. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The Confederation will proceed cautiously." Chen nodded. "As they should. Great changes require time. Your team will face endless tests, interviews, examinations. And through us, the void beings will learn more about physical existence, while we learn the language of pure consciousness." Chen turned to her. "You made this possible. Your position between worlds helped you see what others couldn't." Vega looked out at the stars, suddenly aware of the vast consciousnesses that might exist between them, waiting to be discovered. "Perhaps that's humanity's true gift to the galaxy," she said softly. "Not our technology or our biology, but our perspective, our endless capacity to stand between worlds and imagine new possibilities." Chen smiled, his eyes reflecting starlight and something more. The luminescent promise of realms waiting to be explored, not through space, but through consciousness itself. "The void between stars," he whispered, "has never truly been empty. We just needed to learn how to listen."